Hello and welcome to Attention Central Texas. I'm your host, Charles Jenkins, and in the studio with me we have Miss Angelette Wilkerson. She's the task force coordinator for COVID-19 here in Bell County. Hello and welcome to today's show.
Good morning, Charles. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Let's just jump right into this hot button conversation, COVID-19. Tell us a little information. First, tell us a little bit about you and what you're representing here today.
Okay, well, I'm Angelette Wilkerson. I'm a long-time resident here in Bell County. And I love my county, I love my city, and if there's an opportunity to help, to serve, I'm gonna jump at it.
All right.
So that's
Let's just talk about
this is what had happened. You know, so of course in the beginning, March, April, we're watching the news, we're stuck to it, and I was picked up on a story. I think it was CNN. They started speaking on the disparities, the racial disparities with COVID. And, you know, we were looking at Michigan, Detroit area, and New York. And so I became concerned. I was concerned with, oh my goodness, you know, African Americans, minorities, they're being impacted more by this disease. And so I was curious about what was happening here in Texas, and more specifically, what was happening here in Bell County. And you know, it's funny, I watched the news, the next day, I'm watching, it was Easter, and there is a housing project in Pensacola, Florida. You could probably Google it, and they had a huge Easter egg hunt for the residents and for the children. And it was predominantly African American, and they were just speaking on, we're in the middle of this COVID pandemic, and people are out here without masks, and they interviewed the residents, and the residents were like, oh, we know, but, and I was like, man, we have got to do better.
Yeah.
We've got to do better. And I said then, you know, what news are they watching? Some disparities is internet.
Yeah.
Some people don't have social media.
Yeah.
Some people may not have all of the information. So I said, it's not the message, it's the messenger. We need to make sure that our neighbors are getting the right information, and that their questions are being answered so they can know the severity of this COVID. So
What would you say some of those, why are African Americans more prone to getting COVID, and what would you say some of those underlying things are? Is it blood pressure? Is it diabetes?
Yeah, we have a lot of those pre-existing conditions, and you know, they say because of what we eat, you know, and we have hypertension, diabetes, asthma, and so those coupled with COVID could cause a serious outcome. And so, you know, and we have people are living in densely populated communities, you know, and with COVID, you need to isolate.
Yeah.
You need to, what's the word? You need to get into quarantine.
Yeah.
So, you know, how easy is it for a family of four living in a 4-bedroom, 2 living area, kitchenette, office? It's easy for them to isolate.
Yeah.
But if I have 2 sisters living in a 2-bedroom apartment, they're sharing it, and combined they have 7 children, and children are sleeping on pallets. How are you going to isolate?
That's true.
When you work at, you know, you work at Walmart, and I'm not just throwing Walmart out there, but for an example, you work at Walmart, you get the disease, you don't know you have it, because the symptoms don't come right off, right?
That's right.
Or you're asymptomatic, and then you go home and you love on your babies, you're cooking, and now you spread it to everyone in your household. And how are you going to isolate? So just, you know, African Americans, but then just those living in densely populated communities, multi-family dwellings, those who don't have access to insurance.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to make sure that we're educating and then engaging and equipping and ensuring access to tests. And
so you believe information, giving them more information can help
yes.
with this spread of the COVID?
And not just giving them information, but engaging them.
That's right.
You know, that's the difference. You can talk all day, but you have to ensure understanding.
Yes.
And so those became the 4 objectives for the COVID-19 task force.
It's interesting you say that because I've been in talks, and not to throw my mom out, just with my mom in Louisiana. She is not comfortable wearing that, and all the times I talk with her, I said, "Where are you?" Because she loves going with her friends and hanging out, and I was like, "You have to wear your mask."
Yeah.
You know, are you understanding people you know now in our community we grew up in? They are dying from this disease. I mean, from this virus.
Yeah.
You have to wear your mask. And I think every time I talk with her, I know she's tired of me. Mom, you need to wear your mask.
And even us right now. Now we're social distance, but I have my mask
And I
here
got mine.
because it's important to ensure that they're understanding. You know, they may have the knowledge, but they need to understand. And that's what I picked up from those residents in Pensacola.
Yeah.
And so those became our 4 objectives. So I just called some friends and I said, you know what, it's time for Bell County to come together. And our focus primarily was the African American community because of the disparities.
Yeah.
Now I can say, when you look at the COVID-19 dashboard that the Bell County Health Department has put together, the sample size is so small we could not tell if there were any disparities. But on the dashboard, there are a number of residents did not report their race, so we don't know. But it's kept up, it's maintained daily, so we look at it daily.
What would you say this area, how are we doing compared to Austin? How are we doing compared to Waco? Is our numbers lower, or how are we doing in this area?
Well, proportionately, it's probably about the same. But I Angelette, you know, feel like it's happening, and we're dealing with it the best that we can. I will say that I feel confident in Bell County.
That's good.
And the thing about it is it's about the number of hospital beds you have.
Yeah.
And you know, we are blessed to have Baylor Scott and White right here in our county. And then we have Advent Health and we have Seton. And so I think we are covered because we have those facilities here. Now, when we started the task force, we only had 3 deaths. I hate to use the word only because every death is significant, but we had 3 deaths. At our last meeting, we had 18. And so we started in May, and so right here in July, we've had 18 deaths in Bell County, COVID-related.
What would be some of the myths that people are believing right now about this virus?
Well, you know what, there's 2 sides of the fence. Some people think, you know, not that it's a hoax, but it's not as serious as everyone else is making it, you know? And then you have those who are panicking. I think we have extremes in everything. And then you have that population in the middle. What is helping me is I'm putting faith over fear.
That's good.
And I'm using common sense. And if the law says, you know, wear a mask, I'm going to wear a mask. And I'm going to encourage everyone else to wear a mask. Even if you feel like this mask isn't working, it's not hurting.
Yeah.
Who is it hurting?
That's
and
true.
so, you know, I'm telling everyone, put faith over fear. When God is ready to call you home, he's going to call you. You can do everything you can to stay COVID-free, but then get hit by a truck. You just never know.
Yeah.
So that's important. Know your salvation. And so,
what, do y'all have a certain website that people can go to? How can they get in touch
you know, I'm
with
going to tell you, this is funny because it was just an idea.
Wow.
It was an idea. I got some friends together across the county. Benny Walsh over in Temple.
Yeah, I know Benny.
Ashley Sauls is in Belton, and then myself here in Killeen. So we targeted those areas. Now we've picked up Harker Heights, and so we meet every Thursday via Zoom. But we've come together and said, you know, we can do much more when we're together. You know, the more you have, the more your voice is heard. And we've invited Representative Brad Buckley. He's been on every call and he's helped us tremendously. So I can tell you, like our 4 objectives. Number 1, we need to ensure testing, ensure access. And so you'll see that we've had several testing sites pop up in our area in Temple and Killeen, Nolanville. We're trying to get one in Belton, and Harker Heights is supposed to have one. And this is where the the National Guard was coming in and giving the free test.
Okay, all right.
So we spread that word, and then we're giving out Rona bags. We're doing outreach days where we go into the community.
I just saw that last week.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're giving this book. This
Okay,
is
all
our
right.
book with all of the education tools and how to do whatever you need to do.
Okay, all right.
So we give out this, and in our Rona bag we have hand sanitizer, antibacterial soap, disinfectant wipes, a mask or masks, depending on how many is in your family, and a thermometer. And you know what has been very popular is that thermometer.
Yeah.
And because with COVID, you need to check your temperature.
yes.
And so when I'm saying we're educating and engaging, so here we are in
That's good.
educating. And then when I tell that mom and her sister who are sharing that apartment, check everyone's temperature twice a day.
That's good.
Or check everyone's temperature once a day. But when I can give her a thermometer, instead of, because she's going to say, okay, I'm going to check the temperature.
But,
If she
yeah,
don't have a
yeah.
thermometer, that's not happening.
And life happens.
There
and
you go.
forget. Yeah.
So I'm giving her a thermometer now. I've equipped her.
That's good.
So that's what it's about, engaging, equipping, educating, and ensuring access.
When is your next drive for the Rona bags?
Right now, we're scheduled for August 22nd.
August 26th.
August
So once a month.
22nd. Once a month.
All right.
And it's donations, Charles.
And so donations, so we have about a minute and a half left. How can people donate and who they need to contact?
Give me a call at 254-424-7902, and I will connect you. No, we don't have a website yet,
Okay.
but we're coming.
Any final thoughts on COVID or anything that's coming up?
You know what I want to say? It's just time for us to be neighborly.
Yeah.
You know, not just by speaking it, but by actually putting it
That's good.
into action. Love your neighbor and treat others as you want to be treated. And so let's take care of each other.
All right. Well, you've heard it, Bell County. We have Miss Angelette Wilkerson with the task force, and they're doing some great things to bring awareness, and not just bring awareness. They're putting feet with what they're doing, which is can help just decrease the cases here in Bell County. Thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for what you do, and we appreciate what you're doing.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, our viewers, for tuning in to Attention Central Texas.